What's up, beautiful people? So today we got a cigar. We got a interesting topic to talk about. But first, get out the swamp. Shrek, baby. But yeah, there's a ladybug on the floor. Um, so what we're gonna talk about is and this is something I haven't really gone through. I've gone through like phases of it, but we're gonna talk about weed addiction. Um, Mainly for young men, because I see this so often as a young man myself. But and I don't want to, and I never want to say anything from a superior position. I never want it to be like that. I always want to be relatable to people and to connect with people in a way that's just human. So that's the space I'm coming from with this. So first off, this is going to be a explanation that you probably never heard before. Fuck, this isn't lighting. But this is going to be an explanation on weed addiction that you've never heard before, because most people who talk about this have never actually, basically, most people who talk about this, like clinical psychologists, stuff like that, um, they've never actually been through it. They just read about it in books, or even more than that, they don't have any experience with the plant, with growing the plant, being around the plant, um, or people who've also been through this type of thing. So, and that's a good lesson with anything in life. You want people with direct experience to actually help you, which is why people go to business school, but they never actually do business. You see, like it's like, what do you call that? A catch-22 paradox, whatever the hell, whatever you call it. But so yeah, let's start here. So marijuana is a feminine plant. It has feminine energy, and this is also a big reason why I'm growing it, is because I see the abuse, the misunderstanding of it, the the way it's grown, the high THC zombie weed that's grown today, government weed. It's not good. It's not good. Anyone who tells you that you can't get addicted to weed is lying. They're lying. It's not a physiological thing where like your body actually craves it. It's more of it's like I said, marijuana is a feminine plant, and what that means is that it's almost always going to make you feel good, right? That marijuana high is good, and it's especially. I was watching this video like Psych Hacks or whatever, um, and he was talking about marijuana is so enticing to young people, specifically young men, even women like weed too, like young women like weed too, like all people like weed, but specifically young people, because, and we're gonna talk about young men here because that's what I have experience with it, with considering I'm a young man, but but yeah, so the reason is that it's feminine energy, and what it does is it gives you the illusion that your life is good. This lighter isn't working. Don't make me stop the video. But it gives you the illusion that your life is good, and it does that because it's like a mother. It loves you. The plant loves you, and that's what it's doing. It's not that it's deluding you. It's not that it's making you lazy. That's the point of the plant. Understand that it it kills your drive. It kills your motivation. It makes you lazy because when you consume the plant, it's it's giving you the illusion, right, that your life is good, even though it may not be good. And for a lot of young people, their life isn't good, and there's nothing wrong with that because you're young, you're figuring yourself out. you're making your way through life, you know, you're going through certain traumas and childhood shit, and your parents may not approve of you, all that stuff. Being young is hard. It's not, especially young man. It's difficult, and weed is so enticing because it gives you that feeling that your life is good. And I will say this, right? There is instances where weed can actually be beneficial in that manner, where your life is so shit that you need to feel some sort of good. So maybe there's something for that, but most people, you can change your life. Um, there's really no excuses, to be honest, especially nowadays with all the information. Um, you have all the freedom you want. Essentially, you need to, you know, become aware of that. So yeah, what, like I said, it's a feminine plant, and it's giving you that love. And I'll say that is what I was going to say. Um, you want to be able to generate that love from within without any substances. And I'm a fan of plant medicines, but you have to develop the capacity and the skill and to generate love from within. And this is what basically all spiritual teachers taught. Um, this is what all spiritual teachings actually lead you to, is that the answers are within you, and that you don't need external things to generate that love. Now, there is something to say, is a working mom with three kids, and is a immigrant mom working three jobs with three kids, barely able to scrape by. Is that applicable in that situation? No, but that's not who I'm talking to. You see, so this isn't really a collective policy I'm proposing here. This is an individual solution that most people can actually implement. That weed use is being just is honestly out of control. It's out of control, and people lose decades, maybe not, maybe decades, but years of their life to this. Especially when you're young, your youth is so precious, guys. It's so precious. It's so precious. You know, in my own life, I never had I've never used weed for more than like 3 days straight. But even when I use it 3 days straight, um, it's not, once you have a glimpse of what life can be in a sober state, or psychedelics, whatever, and you actually live that for a while, and then you do weed for multiple days in a row, you realize that the sober state, where you generate love from within, is actually better. And it's not only it's more sustainable, but it's actually better. The high is better. The high is better. This is a homemade cigar, by the way. Always, baby. But creativity, originality, just living your life is so much better than a weed high. But and it's not totally young people's fault, because they, especially, now, not our generation never didn't receive enough spiritual guidance, or if you had an absent father, absent mother, stuff like that, where you could kind of what to do. That's kind of the situation we've been put in as a collective, and we can rewrite that. Um, Young people shape the world, no matter what you want to hear. This is true. It's always been true. Like, let's be honest, young people shape the world. It's always been true, and it always will be true, probably. So yeah, and it's that young people shape the world, but also older people program the younger generations, and they set them up for a specific thing. Um, Now, this isn't to say that you're at the whims of what older people teach you, but it sets a standard for what the next generation is going to do. And what I see nowadays is that, you know, young people can actually rewrite that standard because there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of nonsense. But yes, and if you've been addicted to weed, I've known people who've smoked weed since they were like 13. And the problem with this is that, when some people, Seth Rogen, for instance, he says he's always high, and he's been pretty successful. He seems like he's living a pretty good life. But when you straw man the argument that weed is not good for you with one person as evidence as to why you should do it, is that's not that's not being intelligent. That's not intelligence. That's retarded. It's retarded, guys. Right? You want to steel man the argument that you're making. So if your argument is that weed is beneficial to your life, then if it is, it is, right. You wouldn't be watching this. But if you feel like it's a detriment to your life, then there's no amount of straw manning that you can do to prove your point, right? Like, and honestly, it's not about proving points. That's ridiculous. It's about what's directly true. What, like, if is it helping you? And even when I use weed, it's like, no. Like, I would use weed to just listen to music because it kind of makes music like weird and interesting, or in a different way. Like, it changes it up. Um, but like, if you're just getting high 24/7, guys, this is not it's not going to lead to a full life. It just can't. It can't, because, like I said, that's not what life requires. Your situation could be shit, but then weed can make it better, and so you don't actually want to do anything to make it better. So you need more weed, you need higher THC weed, you need government fucking weed. And this is a big reason why I'm actually growing weed. I don't use weed. I will make that clear. Like I said, every once in a while, but it's just not. It's not even that it's not for me. It's that I see that it doesn't lead to anything, depending on what you're trying to do. Like, if you came to me and said, you don't give a shit, you just want to get stoned, um, and you said in like a genuine manner, like you actually mean it, there's really no problem with that. Like, if you want to live like that, you can live like that. But most people don't. So, um, but a big reason why you should actually, subscribe to my newsletter, for instance, or keep subscribe to the channel, is because I'm growing weed because I'm trying to show people that if you're gonna do if you're gonna use weed, you must grow it yourself, because it creates a connection to the plant. And as with all food nowadays, especially in the United States, the stuff that's grown is so shit. You would not even imagine the stuff that's put into, you know, I'm just gonna say government weed, dispensaries, all this stuff. And there is like local dispensaries. There's one near my house in town. Um, but even that, like, can you really trust these people to grow high quality weed? And when I say high quality weed, I don't mean just shit that gets you faded as hell. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about weed that's actually grown responsibly and not with poisons like agrochemicals and pesticides and shit that's basically illegal for any other thing, but you can use it on weed. That's what I'm talking about. Because in any way you consume that, if you consume, whether it's carts, gummies, fucking blunts, joints, whatever, those things you're getting those directly into your system, and it's killing you slowly. It's actually making you depressed. It's making you anxious. It's making you hate life. It's making you disengaged. Like, you can't live a good life with these things. So that's why I really recommend, like, not even just because it helps me out, but I really recommend you stay tuned for the weed that I'm growing, because it's more than just getting faded. It's much more than that. It's really about health, to be honest. It's really about showing people a higher path, that if you're going to use weed, please grow it. Like like if someone smokes a lot of weed, but they grow it, like, the respect in that is like, you respect it. You truly do, because hold on, you respect it, because even though they're getting faded or whatever, they might be using it as a cope, but still they're growing their own. Like that, even that takes initiative to grow your own weed, and self study, self education, stuff like that. Like, I just want to show people that you can do this stuff. You don't need to be reliant on a system that's basically killing you slowly and making you a sheep and a zombie. Because that's really the bigger picture of what's going on. Like, most people who smoke weed are just fucking zombies. It derps you out. You work your little shitty 9 to 5 job. You come home, smoke your fucking weed. You like this is not apparent that this is shit. That this is terrible life, because the weed makes the shit copable. It's not that weed is bad. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It can help a lot of people, just like medicinally speaking. Seizures, um, I think Parkinson's too. It helps some people with anxiety, uh, pain, stuff like that. All that stuff is good. CBD. I'm actually a fan of CBD. But when it comes to just your basic life as a human, like, if you're working a lame 9 to 5 job, um, your life's shit. You fucking can't even focus for more than 10 minutes without fucking scrolling your phone, and then you come home, put on fucking porn, or you fucking Netflix or whatever. This is shit. This is horrible. And then you smoke weed to make it all go away, which it never really does. Um, the truth is that you have to work for that state. The state that weed puts you in, I'm I'm going to be the first to tell you that you can achieve that state through being engaged with life, creativity, a grounded spiritual practice that you do sober, whether it's yoga, meditation, qigong, whatever. Um, you're religious, you go to church, whatever it is. Um, you can achieve higher states of consciousness through grounded embodiment and actually being engaged with your life creatively. And it takes time to figure that out, because we're not taught. That's the problem. That's the situation we're in. Now, is that an excuse? Hell no. Hell no. It's not an excuse. You could be the one to go through the trials and tribulations of that. This sucks. There we go. You can be the one to go through the trials and tribulations and figuring shit out for yourself, and really educating yourself on fucking politics, health, marketing, business, all that stuff. You can learn all of that for pennies on the dollar. Go to your library, fucking YouTube, all this stuff. Like, actually practice it. You can learn all this stuff. But the problem is that weed gives you the illusion that you're already doing that stuff, but you're actually not. Cigar is weird right now. I think I packed it too tightly. I'm not sure. But yes, like, and I want to make this clear, like, you can, and even like, you can grow your own weed. Like, that alone enough should inspire you, right? Because if you're truly addicted to weed, if you feel like your life is being lost to weed, like the fact that you can grow your own should be enough motivation to say, I will not smoke weed unless it's my own. That alone is inspiring. Side note here, uh, the chipmunk that was in the fucking basement and ate the marijuana plants, um, he's now in my room. I was doing I was doing a qigong practice this morning, and and I heard like pitter patters and shit, and I was like, "What is that?" And like I saw poop on the floor, like little like I used to have a guinea pig, like guinea pig poop. I was like, no, I was like, fuck, and I was doing my standing meditation, and I heard the pitter patters, like I said, and I turned around, and the fucking chipmunk was running across the room. I was like, bro, and then I ran downstairs, got my dog, and then the chipmunk was gone. So we'll figure that out. But I'm living with the chipmunk in my room. I'm sleeping with the chipmunk. Remember that song by what was it by? Fuck, Neon Trees. It's like sleeping with a friend, sleeping with a chipmunk, bro. I never would have thought, bro. Oh my god, I never would have thought. Look, that alone is funny. Like that makes life so interesting. That there's a fucking chipmunk in my room, better than any weed high. So weed is feminine energy. It's basically making you feel like you're already doing great things with your life, but you're actually not. And like I said, it's common for young people because, um, like you're basically of no like you really have no skills. You haven't learned anything. Um, it's and then like what else you do? It's a big social thing. So you smoke weed, you pick up the habit, and you just get used to that fucking. You don't even know what's going on, to be honest, but it feels like shit after a while because you're like, well, I picked this up from my friends who are also sheep, and you know, and like that's it. Like you feel like you're screwed, but you're not. Like if you really care and your intention is to make the most out of your life, you'll quit. You'll stop it. You'll stop today, actually. Um, and this isn't to say if you don't stop today, you'll never stop. But this can be it. Like you can end it right now. Like especially if you're young, guys. Like this is like life can be such a fucking awesome thing, but you have to work for. You truly have to work for it. And I don't mean hustle. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. What I mean work for. Oh fuck, fucking ash on my white coat. But when I mean work for something, I mean that when you want something, right? Like, and this is how you tell a mature person from a immature person. And age doesn't matter in this instance. There's fucking 50-year-olds who act like 10-year-olds. Um, the way you tell is that when a mature person, or we'll start with the immature person, when an immature person wants something, they see the cost of it. They see because there is a cost. There's a sacrifice you have to give. You have to give yourself to the thing, and you surrender to the principle of getting that thing. So let's say you want to be a you want to be I hate this example, but you want to be like jacked or some shit. You want to look good in the gym. I don't like the gym personally, but that's a different story. This fucking thing is just not lighting, bro. But let's say you want to be jacked, but then you see the cost of that because I'm aware that even getting jacked, being in the gym, that's discipline. That requires work. You respect it because it requires work. So it requires vision, really. I mean, to even have the idea of that you can actually change your body and look better is a beautiful thing. even if I'm not really a fan of gym culture and stuff. Um, that's just my bias, to be honest. But um, the so when an immature person will see that cost, and they'll just fucking say, I don't want to do it. Like, I'd rather smoke weed. But the problem is that your dopamine is all over the place. You have to stop chasing cheap dopamine hits, guys. This is not going to heal your life. It's not going to heal anything. It's stupid. And then, on the contrary of that, a mature person sees that and they realize this is what I have to do. So there's no other way to do it. So I have to do it. Like, don't make it optional. You can't make it optional, guys. You can't make it optional. And I've been through this many times, guys. Like, this is an everyday thing. It never gets to a point where it's fucking easy. Of course, it just becomes a habit, really. It's still hard. It just becomes a habit. But it's never easy. It's never easy. Like, and this is why I hate it. I don't hate it, but like, Instagram is just a fucking mess. Social media is a joke because you get on there, you see all this stuff, but it's just all highlights. It's just all, and I'm guilty of this too. Like, I said in another video, like, I'm seriously considering just deactivating my Instagram account because like, the stuff I put on there, you don't know what it took me to actually create those things. And highlight, people see the highlight and they're just like, oh, it took, they, and I'm guilty of this too. I do the same thing. You see a highlight and you're like, oh, maybe you don't even become conscious of the fact of what it took to create that thing, whether it's a piece of art, a garden, fucking your body, whatever, like a business, whatever. It's a mess, guys. I really recommend that if you like, just get off social media, guys. Really, I truly recommend it. YouTube, great YouTube videos, whatever. You can do whatever. Um, there's an infinite number of ways to do business. That's also a trap. It's thinking that just because someone tells you to do business this way, you close your mind off to the infinite possible ways that you can actually do business. So when a mature person wants something, they see the cost and they're willing to do it. Right? Like, if you want to get better at your dating skills or whatever, um, like, are you willing to go out, even move to a place where there are women you're attracted to? Um, are you willing to do that and go out 3, 4, 5 nights a week or during the day, whatever, and approach like 30 women a week? Are you willing to do that? And this isn't easy like a fucking dating app or porn or whatever. It's a different mindset. It's a different way of going about life. That you're willing to do what it takes. And I'm telling you, this process is fun. It's genuinely fun. At first, you got to get the ball rolling, you got to gain some momentum, stuff like that. But after a while, it just becomes natural. Like, you're like, if you want something, well, I'm going to have to fucking work my ass off for it. So it becomes fun, especially when you're not ruled by other people's opinions of you and the demons in your head just telling you that you shouldn't do something and shit like that, which are all par for the course. Um, you just become fulfilled with your life. You become just, even if you don't achieve anything, like, it's not about achieving anything. It truly is about engagement. Like, if you're engaged, truly, that's worth more than any achievement because it's a flow state. Engagement is the same as a flow state, and you can design your life where basically your entire life is one huge flow state. And this is worth more than any marijuana high. It's actually better than a marijuana high, way better. but you can only experience that for yourself. Like, I can tell you that, but are you going to believe it? No. So for young men who are, and I don't even like saying young men because, girls do this shit too. Like, women do this shit, guys do this shit, everyone does this shit. Everyone does this shit. But young men who are going through marijuana addiction, because you can get addicted to weed. Um, you know, it's not the marijuana you're addicted to. Become conscious of what, like I said, of what's actually going on. What's actually going on is that the marijuana is making you feel, giving you the illusion that you're making the most of your life. And what this can actually do, this can actually fuel you to do it without it. Because the way you feel on marijuana, it feels good, whatever. This is possible in your sober state. This is possible, guys. It's the same. Oh fuck! Did I spit on myself? It's the same with psychedelics, guys. Except uh, psychedelics are a whole different. Weed is a psychedelic, but I'm talking more about like mushrooms, LSD, stuff like that. Um, where you don't really get addicted to them because they're so strong. Um, and that's the difference. Weed is more of a mild psychedelic, but with other psychedelics, um, the effects are much more potent, and they can drastically change your life. But that's not the discussion. So the discussion is that, well, the lesson is that with psychedelics, they show you what's possible. This is what a lot of people who use substances miss. Um, that they are just a tool. They are a tool, guys. And, even with mushrooms, like a microdose here and there, like I think it's actually beneficial, to be honest. Doing a little bit of mushrooms every like 2 weeks or something, I think it's beneficial. But people would disagree. But they are never a shortcut, and they're never an excuse to not do, to work on your life, essentially, to really reach those states sober, right? The kingdom of heaven is within you. This is not like these sayings are not just fucking sayings. They are true. They are true. So I just want to be as I want to be relatable here. Like, I'm also young. I've been through other addictions, guys. I used to fucking binge eat. I used to be afraid to go out and to a fucking coffee shop or whatever because I was so afraid of what people thought of me, guys. Like, I go through this shit too. But there's a difference. The difference is that you actually commit to the path of just overcoming yourself, because that's what you're doing. You're overcoming your own self. Nothing is stopping you, guys. And I think that this is actually, what is going on with this cigar, bro? I think this is more beneficial than, you know, like an older person or someone telling you what to do, right? I think what changes people is relatability, and actually, having either a friend or, someone you can relate to who also has challenges, and then you can just go through it together. So if you're watching this, I hope you stay tuned for more. Um, uh, and you really um, like watch what I do with the marijuana, please. Like how I'm growing it, what I do, and then do it yourself if you're addicted to weed. Please do it. Invest in it, please. I beg you. Literally, if I could just give you this, I that's the only one thing I give you is that do not smoke weed unless it's your own. Just commit to that. Commit to that. Commit to that. Because if you grow your own weed, you'll realize that the growing of it, and this is a big thing I've noticed with gardening, and it's actually a spiritual principle here, that the growing of things, the the, the creativity that you put, what you put into it, is actually more fulfilling than the harvest. The harvest is fucking awesome too, but like the process is better than the actual result. You learn to love just doing, the doing of it. Like, I guarantee you, the growing of the marijuana, the trials and tribulations, the fucking chipmunk, all this shit is more fun than just smoking it. And I think that, with cheap dopamine, all this stuff has ruined that. It hasn't ruined it, it's clouded that truth. And of course, you can just cut out the cheap dopamine very easily. Um, but yeah, so that's what I got to say. This was a fucking pause, but it was a huge cigar, bro. But yeah, if you're addicted to weed, I hope you know that you're really not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. Um, begin honestly. Begin with just spiritual practice, like a grounded spiritual practice. Whether you go to church, qigong, yoga, just start hiking, start doing things in your actual life, because weed can take you out. It can. It's so weird what it does. It's so weird, and it's not the plant's fault. It's how we're using it. It was never meant to be a plant that you just smoke to get high and then disengage from your life. The purpose of weed was to get you to see, and I think this is true for most plant medicines, is that it gets you to see what life can be, what it can be. If you work on it, if you're engaged with it, and nothing comes easy, it's going to take work. Um, but once you connect with the joy, with the beauty of life, with the love of life, you start generating that love from within, you see that you'll do anything to enhance that. Even if so the hard work becomes just not even hard at that point. It becomes a reverence and a respect for life. And if you're watching this, you're getting fucking gems here, guys. Like, this is from years of studying this shit and actually doing it. But I want to be an example. Like, as a young person myself, I'm 21. That you can change your life, guys. You can change your life. You don't have to live like other people in the social matrix, guys. You don't have to live like that. Right? And again, I've said this many times, but this is why I like cigars, because there's a difference. I'm gonna make a full video on it. I got to. The difference between weed and tobacco. Tobacco is a grounding plant. It's a masculine plant, and it has that grounded energy. It keeps you in reality. Well, it doesn't keep you. It puts you. If you're in a different space, it puts you back in reality. Now, marijuana, from a from a higher perspective, what is reality? I'm talking about this reality we're all living in. It's weird. It gets weird, but just your basic life, your human life. What weed does, like I said before, is that it gives you the illusion that you're living your best life. It truly does. I'm gonna check if this camera's on. Hold on. All right, it's on. Thank God. It gives you the illusion that you're living your best life. Excuse me, but you're not. So, and tobacco grounds you in your life. It actually brings you more presence and more, just general clarity in your own life. You can sit and just think without being high. Stop being high. So where would I start? Like, I would start, of course, with like baby steps. Fuck. I would start with baby steps. Like, if you can get organic weed, get organic weed. This is something that, schools, none of this shit will teach you this, guys. That most, basically 90% of the food in America is poison. Um, and this isn't to scare you. Please don't be scared, actually. Um, love this. Actually, make this a part of your purpose in life. Like, seriously, that these problems create ladybug. These problems these problems create purpose and meaning. Of course, you're constructing that, but still, like, they still give you purpose and meaning. So if you're addicted to weed, you can actually create a purpose that, and you teach people how to overcome the weed addiction, but actually how to grow high quality weed that's organic and sustainable, and and that's their how do I say this? And that's their own, right? Of course, like, you could take that and run with it. So, yeah, um, that's really all I got, guys. So, subscribe to the newsletter in the description. I have a tobacco course coming out October 28th. Pre-order now. If you pre-order, you get a leaf. You get like a wax leaf from one of my tobacco plants. It's pretty sick. So, yeah, guys, I I said here I'll make more videos on this because I just like talking about it. And I don't know, like, even though I've had glimpses of this addiction. Like, I actually force myself to smoke weed to see what it's like, because I had no interest in weed until I actually started understanding that this is a huge problem. So I actually forced myself to use weed and to see what it's doing, because I already had practice in other plant medicines and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, and like I said, what it's doing is that it's giving you it's it's a mom basically, and it loves you, and it's giving you the illusion that you're doing good, and your life may be shit. And then when you stop smoking the weed, you're left with that emptiness, that hole. And the goal of the goal of spirituality is to generate that from within, like I said. And you can 100% do that. This is possible, guys. But it's not easy, and we haven't been taught how to do it. So that's what makes it difficult. Difficult. But once you gain that reverence, once you have glimpses into it, once you start doing it, you see why you're doing it. And I can't tell you why you're doing it. You have to experience that for yourself. So yeah, um, like I said, newsletter in the description. Get in there. Valuable insights, massive value. Tobacco course in the description. And yeah, I used to say follow me on Instagram, but I honestly don't like it anymore. So I never really liked it, to be honest. But yeah, guys, that's it. We're gonna have a puff. Take a puff. Peace, guys. Take it easy.